1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to.
Southside Pod!
Yes, we're on the air. And the gang's all here, all things on the South Side. You're listening to the Southside Pod. Looking for the best Southside breweries. Or you might just need an awesome place to eat.
Southside Pod!
Mount Greenwood, Evergreen, Blue Island, Beverly, Payless, and Allsup too. You're tuned into the Southside Pod.
Southside Pod!
Oakland, Midlothian,
Southside Pod!
Oak Forest, Chicago Ridge, Flossmoor, and Bridgeview. You're listening to Southside Pod. Welcome. Woo!
Well, I like that.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah.
We should have applause whenever a show starts. I love it.
I like this.
I love it. Okay, so John Streetz on this program today. He's going to be sitting down here at the
Great
bar.
guy.
He's been on the show before. He brought bourbon.
Promoter, curator.
Right. He brought bourbon for us.
Yeah.
So we're going to be trying bourbons.
I don't
and
like
We're going to drink it.
Mike, you can get on the mic.
I will have all your bourbons.
We're going to be talking cosplay, comics, breweries, and events that are going on that John is putting together, and he brought bourbons. It's going to be crazy, okay? So we've got that going on. The other thing, though, I want to jump into here.
Yeah.
We used to have a segment called The Stupidest Person of the Week.
Yes.
Or the dumbest thing you've
And then
heard
it was
all
me
week.
every week, and we stopped.
And the problem with the dumbest thing
You can only
you'll hear all
win
week,
52 weeks in a row, Bill.
or the stupidest thing, or the stupidest
weeks.
person,
Yeah, right.
if you do it of the week, I have to come up with 52 of them.
That's hard.
It's a lot
And-
of stupid people.
Right.
Yeah.
But it serves a purpose when I have somebody to be honestly angry with.
Oh, boy.
And this has nothing to do with the
Old
South
man
Side.
yells
Nothing
at
at all. But if you're a
clouds.
football fan,
Okay.
Okay.
you know about this.
Yes.
Okay, and I have a take that I just cannot help myself. Yeah, like, I try to stick to the subject matter, right? Like with the
Sure.
White Sox podcast, only White Sox. With this,
Right.
it's only Southside. But you guys are down here, and I just got a vent for
Okay.
like 2
Okay.
seconds, okay?
Vent.
Let it
All right.
release.
This past weekend on CBS's NFL coverage, Bill Cowher, the former coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, goes on
Worst
a
kind of
rant.
analyst.
Okay.
Goes on a rant, okay? And he's an analyst. I'm going to say that right away. He's an analyst. He sits there at a desk.
He's an ex-coach.
And he's an ex-coach and he's an analyst. And he's upset because the Indianapolis Colts, they hired a former player who had never coached before as their head coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he
A
never
lot of
did
people are angry
any
about
coaching, and they make him the head coach. And by the way, he goes out and wins
Yeah.
after the
Well,
team has
that's
been
for
losing
sure.
all year
Right.
long. Okay, so whatever they did,
Jeff
it worked.
Saturday for
Right,
you
Jeff
listeners
Saturday.
at home.
And he calls this a disgrace to the coaching profession because this person didn't put in the work. This person wasn't an assistant coach. This person didn't work up the ranks of coaching.
Blah, blah,
You can't
blah,
just be the head
It's not
coach.
about that.
And my response to that, and you know, I shouldn't do this. I always make
Have the
fun of
bleep
people that
button
go and
ready.
yell stuff on Twitter, but
Yeah.
I tweeted Bill Cowher.
No.
I did.
Yes.
And I said,
Yes,
Bill,
you did.
that's really cool. Now do people that go to school to become broadcasters and work in small towns and make no money and have to do things just for exposure because nobody will give them a paycheck and work their way up but can't get a job in a major market or what you do because ex-athletes and ex-coaches get those jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody immediately said, well, he's an analyst. He does interviews. And let me tell you something.
Sure.
The art of the interview takes years to figure out.
Absolutely.
And you have to be trained in the journalistic steps of being able to ask the question, what's slander? There's all kinds of training that goes into an interview. It's not just sitting down and talking to somebody. The best interviewers have experience. This guy has no experience.
None.
He has... What he studied in college was physical education. What qualifies him to sit there? So he's a
So
guy.
he's a gym teacher.
He's a guy in a glass house throwing stones.
Right.
That's what he was.
Yeah.
And it annoyed
But
me,
he's
and I'm
got a
sorry
great
I had to start off the
scowl.
show that way, but he pissed me off.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Chris.
He made me upset. He got my blood pressure up.
Do you want a hug?
Yes. Can I have a hug?
Yeah.
Oh,
Come
all
over
right.
here,
Well,
man.
thank you.
Get
Give me
over
a
here.
hug.
Somehow Chris
Ooh.
made Jeff Saturday
Ooh.
getting hired about him.
I did. That's what this
good
show's
work.
all about.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's
welcome.
impressive.
Welcome to Southside Pod.
Yeah.
Play the song. Your pretty ladies around the world got a weird thing to show you, so tell all your boys and girls, tell your brother, your sister, and your mama too. 'cause they're about to go down and you know just what to do. Wave your hands in your air like you don't care. Fly by the people as they start to look and stare. Do your dance, do your dance. Quick mama, come on baby, and tell me what's the word, word up. Everybody say, when you hear the call, you got to get it underway. What up? It's the code word. No matter where you say it, yeah, you'll know you'll be heard.
John Streetz is sitting down here at the 9 Foot Homemade Oak Bar. John, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, Chris. Thank you very much.
This is your first trip to the actual bar. You've been on the show before.
I have.
You've jumped on the phone with me. You've talked about some of the things you do. You're into the arts, I guess would be the best way to describe it to those that don't remember you or haven't heard from you before. But you do a very interesting thing where you bring artists together, and you generally bring them together with booze or beer at breweries or distilleries. Like, you have events where people come along and they do something really fun in a place that's like a brewery or a distillery. Is the reason why you do that because the closest thing to art in like the bar restaurant thing is probably brewing and distilling because these people have to be artists?
Not quite.
I went real deep on that first question.
Yeah,
I like
you
that.
definitely did. At the core of it, I just like to drink while I work, and that's why I host these events at
Oh, us
breweries.
too.
Man, you would fit in well here, John, for sure.
But in a serious note, breweries are artists themselves, and they love having unique events like this. Anything to bring in some people to check out the brewery for the first time. These craft and art shows are perfect at doing that. And the breweries are the first ones to just jump up and say, sure, we'll host an event for you here. And I'm a craft beer lover. I'm a bourbon lover. If I can find a couple brewery or bourbon places to host a show, I'd probably do those there too. But the breweries are something I've been an advocate for and a lover of, and it's just kind of a marriage of what I love and supporting the artist.
That's very, very cool. So you have a couple of them coming up right now. We're going to talk about them, but you brought bourbon as well, and Mike is going to help me with drinking bourbon because Bill's not a bourbon drinker. What are we tasting here?
So this right here is Four Roses single barrel. It's a barrel strength bourbon. Specifically, it's 59.9% in alcohol volume. If you care a lot about which warehouse it's from, it's R5. And barrel number 81.43 for any bourbon fans there. Basically, this is just under 120 proof. And, you know, I traditionally like to drink it straight up in a snifter or whatever this is called. But I also like to drink it on ice every once in a while. I think you guys have both tasted that. What do you think?
It's good. You know, I learned when I went on the bourbon trail, which is a great trip for anybody who's listening to the show. I do a guy's trip now. We're doing it again this year. We're picking a spot in Kentucky to go and do them. The first thing you learn with bourbons is they will tell you if you want the best taste off it, take a little bit and swish it in your mouth like mouthwash for 10 seconds to remind yourself you're drinking poison. And then after you have numbed your mouth, then you take the next sip and you can taste all the flavors in it, which I did not believe until I did it. And if you notice, I did that right then and there when you were sitting there describing it. And I could taste the differences in it. That's a really good bourbon. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't like to swish it myself. I'll just let it pool at the bottom of your mouth and just collect and maybe effervesce around your tongue. And then you swallow it. You notice when you do that, it's far less burn going down the throat, and you get to taste a lot more of the flavors in it. I'm not one of those people that can say, oh, there's tobacco and there's oak in this, and I just think it tastes good.
You have two events coming up Thanksgiving weekend. Mm-hmm. One is at Sound Growler in Tinley. One of them is at Hailstorm Brewing, which is actually one of the sponsors of another show here on the Broadcast Basement On Demand Radio Network. They are the official brewery of Sox in the Basement. They have been for since they started with us early on this year. So I love that brewery. I'm up there all the time. So which one you want to talk about first?
So let's do it in order. The first one is on that Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's called the Comic and Cosplay event at Sound Growler Brewing. This is going to be not a C2, not a fan expo, not a Wizard World. It's going to be Sound Growler's own kind of marriage of comics, cosplay, a little bit of pop culture, con, and craft beer and awesome tacos.
Are there speakers at it, or is it like comics, displays, tables, and people dressing up?
No speakers, at least not yet. It's going to be the latter. It's going to be comics, cosplay, some artists, some crafters, the kind of things you would see at a C2E2.
Yeah.
This time at a brewery, while you can get to sip or drink some beer and enjoy some of those tacos.
Right, and you got the costumes
Exactly.
with the cosplay.
I won't be cosplaying.
Yeah.
But I actually brought in 3 or 4 different cosplay troops that are going to be there at the event.
Oh, so you have
Troops.
professional cosplayers showing up for this.
I think they're professional. I don't know if that's actually part of their title.
What kind of cosplay are we getting? Are we getting like straight up cosplay? Are we getting sexy cosplay? That's my favorite cosplay. My favorite cosplay is like that they just find a way to just make it sexy cosplay. Right? Like some of the cosplay is dressing like the actual
Right.
cosplayer.
I'm Darth
and-
Vader.
Right. And
But
some
then
of
for
it is
every one Darth Vader, there's at least a dozen sexy Darth Vader.
sexy Darth Vaders.
Right.
What does sexy Darth Vader look like?
I don't know. It's like, Luke, I'm your daddy.
So a lot of cosplayers, they have a variety of cosplay outfits they can put on. So I can't say for sure what they're going to dress up at as this event, but let's assume we have some sexy cosplayers.
Yeah,
there.
let's assume it. That's what I'm assuming.
But if you give me a second, I can tell you exactly some of the people that'll be there. Faceless Cosplay will be there. DCW Builds. But these are some amazing
They're
cosplayers.
troops is what they are. I find this interesting because,
It's
you
like
know,
group costumes, it's themed.
some people love this stuff. My daughter's very into anime. Okay, she's in the anime club at high school, and then she thinks that they get into this cosplay thing where they dress as like an anime character, and they all do this kind of stuff. So this is like, I know there's people that really get into this. I think it's a little weird, but I mean, it's great people watching. Like if I'm going to a brewery, like think about it, you see, you're looking at this from one angle, I'm gonna look at it from another. If I'm going to a brewery for the day on a Saturday, and I can watch people walk around in costumes while I drink beer, sign me up. Just get me in.
I'm
there,
in.
Okay? I mean, I like people watching to begin with, but now I get to people watch people that are in outfits as they're walking around while I'm drinking beer. That to me enhances the entire thing. So even if you're not into cosplay, that would be a fun thing to just kind of go and observe and check out on that weekend. If you are in the comics or you are into cosplay, this is a fun thing to do on that weekend.
Agreed.
And I think you're right in the wheelhouse of it because I know that a lot of these events that happen in the spring that are coming, I want to say C2E2 and some of the other events that, that bring together people that are into these things. I know the tickets have just kind of gone on sale. So you're like right top of mind, I would think, right now.
Exactly. Speaking to the cosplay, I'm actually more excited and interested to see what the guests are going to be as the cosplayers. There's going to be a cosplay contest at that event. So the brewery's going to basically, probably towards the end of the event, line up everyone, judge them, and then announce the winner. Now, I don't know what the prize is at this point, but just the fact that they're going to have a contest is going to draw a lot of cosplayers. It's going to be, I'm hoping, some amazing cosplay.
I'm going to go as 45-year-old dad bod.
You would win that.
Oh,
Chris.
yeah. I got that character down.
Sad dad,
Yeah.
bod, right?
Oh my God!
Oh, my God.
It's the Southside Pod!
It's the Southside Pod.
Oh my God!
Oh, my God.
It's the Southside Pod!
It's the Southside Pod.
OMG!
OMG.
It's the SSP!
It's the SSP.
Oh my God!
Oh, my God.
It's the Southside Pod!
It's the Southside Pod. Southside Pod listeners, if you've been injured at work, you need a team that will do what it takes to fight for your rights. The insurance companies only care about one thing, their bottom line. Law offices of Parente and Norham, their team has experience, dedication, proven results it takes to get you the care and compensation you deserve. They've recovered over $400 million for their injured clients and their loved ones. If you want a free case evaluation, this is for Southside Pod listeners. Call or text them today at 312-641-5926 or visit pninjurylaw.com. I'm Chris, that's Bill, that's Mike, that's John. Streetz all sitting here at my 9-foot homemade oak bar right here on the south side. And you talked about one event. We drank some bourbon, but there's another event also in Tinley, also on that weekend, the day after the cosplay and the comics in Tinley on the Sunday at Hailstorm, right?
Correct, yeah.
Next
Flurry of Makers Holiday Market.
And this is like another big one that's going to be a completely different kind of thing, though. That's more of a holiday market. It's perfect for that weekend. people immediately turn their attention to Christmas if they haven't already. And, you know, I mean, there are some people, I actually saw a house the other day, still had the Halloween decorations up, and the person next to them had a sleigh in the front yard. It was hysterical, okay, how these two holidays run into each other. But I mean, like, this is everybody's in the to Christmas after Thanksgiving. So this is the perfect time for it. Tell me what's going on in Hailstorm.
Sure thing. So we're going to open up actually some of the brewery area to have some artists. I'm guessing we're going to have about 28 to 32 artists total at that event. It's definitely going to be no cosplay, although there might be a Krampus there. That's not official.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like Krampus.
That's kind of like cosplay,
Yeah.
but, you know, he won't steal any of your children, but he'll scare you for sure.
Will he steal my children for a fee?
Possibly.
Okay.
I can put you in contact with him.
All right.
Is there
Yeah.
a group rate for that?
I got 3 right now. I'd like to get down to 2 if possible. Yeah.
But basically, this will be, you know, you're not in a rush to shop for the holidays, but you want a fun experience to just kind of hang out, see some of the artists and see some of the makers that are going to be there. Maybe find some great gifts for your family. More importantly, some great gifts for yourself. They're going to have a live pianist there.
A pianist. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right.
I think you are. If not, who cares? It's a podcast.
But he'll be doing some live piano, holiday music, and the guy's name is Jarek. But yeah, so this will be set up slightly differently than the last one. If you went to the last flurry of makers markets that I've done there, I've done 2 so far. This will be the 3rd one, and this will have a bit more holiday theme going on through the things that you can buy. But we'll still have some of the dark, some of the macabre, some of the witty, some of the funny. You know, all hand makers. You're not going to see a single MLM there.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that place? It's a beer hall. Like, you've been in a Hailstorm. That's a German beer hall, essentially, is what it is. It's a brewery that's a beer hall. They were perfect for Oktoberfest time. We were out there for that. We were there. Southside Pie was out there for that. And they have maybe like just the best space for having something like what you're talking about with a market, I would think. That's going to be a fun time out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It always is. A little tidbit is years ago, I used to run a small business called Bead Streetz that was all about perler bead art. One of my very first shows I ever did at a brewery was at Hailstorm. This was before they did their expansion and have the food on site. But definitely that was a blast. One of the pictures I have from that event shows me with a bunch of barrels behind me selling my perler bead art.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, anytime you mix a little bit of craft beer with a market, it's a great time for everyone.
Before I let you out of here, what's with the shirt?
So
It's got POW.
this
and
It's like a comic book shirt.
It's like a comic book shirt.
is 100% what I'm going to be wearing at the Sound Growler Comic and Cosplay Market.
Right.
Because it's perfect for that kind of event. This shirt's from Project Good Apparel. They're an amazing company that makes these shirts out of basically recycled plastic bottles. They donate.
This is where my bottles go.
Yeah, well, not all of them, but quite a few. And they donate 10%, I believe it's 10% to charities. I don't remember what charity this shirt was from, but this is perfect. It basically looks like a Batman show from the 80s, you know, with all the pows and the bams and the booms and whatever.
Biff. Thwack.
Right.
Thwack was my favorite.
I love this brand of shirts, and actually he pops up every once in a while at some of my shows. He's not confirmed for any of the shows I've got going on this year yet.
Yeah.
To the end, but no, it's a great company, a great vision. Their shirts are super duper comfortable. I'm normally an extra large. This is a double X, but the shoulders still look good, and you know I've gotten so many compliments and
awesome.
and just general comments when wearing some of these shirts.
I have a question for you. And once in a while, I have an idea. They're not always good, but I believe this is a good one. And if you entertain it, you have a relationship with all these breweries all over, right?
Correct.
What's it going to take to get a John Streetz Southside Pod beer collab? We'll call it Streets of the Southside, limited time IPA, stout, or whatever you want to, whatever kind of beer
Something
you want.
you wouldn't drink.
Streets of the Southside,
Right.
limited edition beer. We promote it. We go out there. We broadcast live from the brewery that night. We partner with somebody. We go out there. We actually make it. We put the ingredients we want to put in there. What do we got to do to make this happen?
We'll just we'll make sure and link all the breweries on the south side in that
Okay.
particular episode.
Yeah.
And the first one that gets in,
First
gets
one
in.
that reaches out
Unless
to
we
us.
do a giant collab that includes 2 or 3 or 4 breweries from the South Side, which I'm all about networking.
I'm all for
I think
all
we
the
could do
collabing.
some kind
I
of
just
like-
want it to cost me zero money, and I want to drink for free.
I think we could do some kind of affiliate sales thing too, or maybe we can trade some advertising for maybe agreeing to collab with us. I don't know. Is it
all right.
possible?
All right, I think this is a good idea. Look at you.
Yeah, great
Look
idea.
at
Bill.
you. You're sitting down here at the end, and
Hey.
you're all quiet, and all of a sudden you're just like,
I had a vision.
It's the middle of the show song. 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 Chris had nothing to put here, so he put this song. It's the middle of the show song.
I think every show should be with applause.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's great.
But you're that guy.
What?
You're a megalomaniac.
What is a megalomaniac?
I don't know. I
It's
think
like a maniac, but bigger.
Besides
Isn't
a
it
Pearl Jam
by-
song.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's a really cool video. It's a really cool video. And yeah,
Person that's like full of themselves. They like to hear about themselves. They like to.
it was Incubus too. By the way,
recognition.
I was wrong. It was Incubus. It was not Pearl Jam.
I was gonna say I thought it was Incubus,
it was
but I didn't
Incubus.
want to be wrong.
No. It was Incubus. Were you afraid that if
Now you're afraid of being wrong?
if you told me I was wrong, I was such a megalomaniac, I would yell
Right.
at you?
You would be like, I'm never wrong. I'm Chris Lanuti, host of the Broadcast Basement Radio Network.
It's On Demand Radio Network.
Oh,
by
I'm
the way.
sorry.
Get
Yeah.
it right.
All right.
See? You're wrong, Bill.
Yeah. Southside Pod.
That's what I like. Switch to a new age of life. Keep mom and dad, grandma and grandpa independent and in their home. You do not need to even look at assisted living. Forget that. Get a smart home set up for you right here on the South Side by Hyatt Home Medical Equipment. They're going to make the house less of a fall risk. They have apps that open and close doors. They've got lifts to get you from one floor to another. Plus, they've got the best in diabetes control, the latest and greatest medical equipment, oxygen tanks, CPAP machines, you name it, they have it. Check it all out at hhme.com. They're going to work with your insurance, and if you mention Southside Pod, you get an additional discount. It can be confusing figuring out home care, figuring out the insurance, taking care of your loved ones. Hyatt's going to take care of you. Stop it and see them talk to a person face to face in their big, beautiful showroom, 3518 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. And I got to tell you, the best part about this point in November, before I get to the turkey, is the end of all the election stuff. You know, I know the media wants to just jump right into the next election cycle. I need a break, honest to goodness. But there was like one thing, guys, that just overarching feeling that I had after what happened last Tuesday.
Okay.
With the midterms
I'm
and everything
scared.
like that.
I'm a little scared. But
No,
go
don't
ahead.
be scared.
This will be a great conversation.
No. My feeling is
reserve these political conversations for Thanksgiving dinner.
we're a little less crazy.
True. I will.
See that?
We don't
said
agree
that?
with much, but this I will
We
totally
never
agree on.
agree on anything politically.
Nope, we
We're
don't.
a little less crazy.
What do you mean by that?
Most of the crazy didn't win.
No, most of the crazy.
Here, I'm
on
gonna
both sides
break this
of the-
down. We have Mike here and myself who never agree on
this
politics.
is not going to
Very
air.
little.
Oh yeah, it's gonna air.
No,
Yeah,
not
it is.
after I'm done with it.
Okay, we'll cut you out. So here's the thing. I felt like, and you tell me if I'm wrong. If you were crazy, if you were far on one side or far on the other side, you didn't win. Okay, and then the other factor was if you shut down things during COVID, you lost unless you were running against a crazy person. Then people were like, all right, I'm mad at you, but I'm not electing that crazy guy. And that's kind of like how it
Except
felt.
for the state of Illinois.
State of Illinois is like an anomaly that I'll never understand. Like, I'll never get Illinois. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Illinois. Let's talk about this real quick. Who else went to the ballot box and saw that? And Mike and I had an argument about
We
this.
did.
We did. We had an argument about this.
No, we had a conversation about
No, it
it.
was an argument because I thought you were wrong and stupid.
Yep.
They
I thought you were definitely
they have
wrong.
the
That's the
they
funny
have
thing.
the video thing with the touch screens.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I show up
Not mine, I was on paper.
right. So when I
I
show
went
up,
paper too.
the person sitting there
There's a
has an
line. I'm not waiting
iPad
in
to
line.
check me in.
That
There's
was
3
weird
iPads
this
sitting
year.
there to check
Weird.
me in and prove that I'm at my address and I have to sign on an iPad.
Not on the paper.
Okay.
Like I just said my name and they gave me a paper ballot.
See, I everybody at my station had an iPad. Then I go over and it's time to vote. They have 7 stations that are paper ballots
Yep.
and 1 touchscreen.
Illinois is behind on the touchscreen. So
Now,
they're way behind.
a good friend of ours,
well, it's hard to do
Ed.
fraud on a computer. It's
Right.
very easy with paper.
our good friend Ed, who
true
lives
story,
up on the north side, said there were no paper ballots and everything was touchscreen. So it depends on where you live, who's getting the paper ballots.
Well, let's be honest. Some of the suburbs invest a little more in technology.
Now, here's the other thing. The girl who was one of the election supervisors,
a lot of new election judges.
she sits there and tells me that she had an argument about the fact they're only giving out Sharpies for the paper things. And she goes, because they told me the pens smudge. And I go, but the Sharpies go through the paper. She goes, that's what I said.
See, everyone was saying that in the morning, watch your Sharpies, especially Mount Greenwood. Like, they bleed through.
They bleed
Mine
through.
completely bled through.
Yeah.
However, turning over, nowhere near the circles on the
That
other
was
side.
my point, Chris.
But the
Nowhere
point
near.
is,
That's
Nowhere
my
near.
point.
why do we have
Completely bled through. And I went, oh my God,
Somebody
they are
explain
bleeding
to me,
through.
but somebody explain to me.
Nowhere near.
Okay, fine. But here's my point. Why in 2022 are we doing anything at all, anything that would make people feel uncomfortable
By the
with
way,
whether or not their vote counted
this
right,
is where
right?
it comes down.
I mean, that's my point.
Anything you do, someone would do, by the way.
You said
You
doo-doo.
will find someone to find some kind of weird thing
See, because
that they're mad about.
the touchscreen thing prints out everything perfectly and shows me a receipt. So I trust that more than I trust a thing that bleeds through the marker on the other side. Right?
That's
I mean,
what-
like, to me, I think that's silly. Like, just get touchscreens at this point. Like, if you were able to afford, think about this. Someone in the state of Illinois spent a ton of money to hand out iPads to all the election judges, but can't hand out
Which they didn't
enough
do in the
iPads to
primaries.
vote. And that's the thing. If you had the money for that technology, use it on the voting
These
first.
people spend a lot of money just to throw dirt at other people.
Fix
Why-
the elections.
Fix the elections
Yeah,
first.
okay, like, here's the thing. I don't care who you want to win in Arizona, Nevada, whatever. Why does it take so freaking long? Like that shouldn't happen anymore.
It's because
it's
they
stupid.
We
can't start
found out who
counting
win
stuff.
American Idol that night.
Yeah, exactly.
They vote
And it was like
online.
100.
Right. Kelly Clarkson won
Right.
that night.
And like
on
more
the first
people
American
voted
Idol.
in that
Right,
too.
yeah.
Like 70% of America voted Kelly Clarkson. to
Because they
win.
do that all with an app. They don't do
Let's
like
Why
do it
can't
with an
we
app
do
then.
that?
I'll do it with an app.
Why don't we elect Kelly Clarkson? Her and Ruben Studdard. Is he still alive?
No, I think he's dead.
No, I thought he's
Still,
alive. The other
He could
guy's
win in
dead.
Illinois.
My vote is for Kelly Clarkson and dead Ruben Studdard. President forever.
As we get to the end of the show, it's now time for your Southside Pod Bulletin Board. What's going on this weekend? Here it is. The Beat 2 is going to be at the Rooftop Tap in Palos Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Classic rock from the 50s all the way through the 80s, Sinatra, Elvis. They're basically playing anything. You got to call for reservations in advance, 708-361-1226 for the Rooftop Tap on Friday night. Your bulletin board is brought to you by Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Quitting smoking is hard. Cool Clouds wants to offer you an alternative. They have a full taster bar and great CBD products. You can stop in and see them, 3837 West 95th Street, or visit them at coolcloudsvapor.com. Also on Friday night, 7:30 p.m. at Craples. That's out in Worth, right there at, what is that, about 111th where the tollway goes over? Mel and Tom will be playing there starting at 7:30. Also on Friday night at 10 p.m. at 115 Bourbon Street in Marionette Park, it's country night, and they're bringing out the Mechanical Bull. What else do you need? Saturday night over at 115 Bourbon Street from 6 p.m. until 10. We're all at Bourbon Street 5. This is MMA Fighting. Many top regional talents are going to be there. Some of the best local Chicago talents around. Get your tickets at nitrotickets.com. And the final thing before the show ends is brought to you by SidSauce.net. The peppers are grown on the south side. The sauces are created, they're bottled, they're delivered to your door for free over most of the south side. It's the only place I get my hot sauces, and there are so many different delicious flavors at different heats. Check them all out at SidSauce.net. Carl Sandburg High School, this Saturday, November the 19th, starting at 9 a.m., going till 4 in the afternoon, is having their fall craft show. Get your wreaths, your snowmen, your decorated sleds, and all that good stuff out of the way in Orland, 133rd and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. That is 30 Minutes of Good, known as Southside Pod. If you're new to the show, make sure you go back and you listen. Every episode is on demand and always available to you. And while we keep you up to date on what's going on week to week, there are so many interesting people that we meet on this program. We'll meet some new ones next week. Hit that subscribe button on whatever app you're using, and we will see you soon with another 30 minutes of good for the South Side, right here on Southside Pod.
It's the South Side! It's the South Side! It's Southside Pod! Thanks for listening! Thanks for tuning in to the Southside Pod! Y'all come back now, you hear?